Welcome into Sports with Balls, y'all. But I'm back. Here we go. What a show. What a weekend in sports, man. Jeez. NFL. Man, look, it's the juggernaut it is for a reason, man. Incredible football games this past weekend. Welcome into the show. I'm your host, Jeff Michael. You have me for about 30 minutes. We'll try to blast through all of this NFL stuff, man. Great show on tap for you today. I'm running a little bit behind because I was at the very well-known DPS office today. No, I'm not in trouble. Just got to get that old license renewed. So welcome into the show. You have any questions, prompt them up. If you're watching the show live, if you're listening to the podcast, welcome in to the show. It's going to be a blast. Show number 278. Got a big week lined up for you guys this week. Christian's Tailgate, thank you very much for sponsoring the show, of course. Go to christianstailgate.com. Place was absolutely packed. The Bills Mafia is at one of their locations, I know. And I'm sorry. Sorry, that's all I got to say. I bet it was packed, but it was a blast. The place will be packed again this weekend. So go to christianstailgate.com. Find one near you. Also, Modern Home Improvement. Go to modern-homeimprovement.com. It's pouring down rain over here. There's snow everywhere across the United States. There's roofing issues. There's fence issues. Anything, remodeling. Get $500 off when you mention Sports with Balls. Go to modern-homeimprovement.com or call 832-930-0156. All right, now we got that out of the way. Boy, January, what is today? Let's do our national day. January 22nd, Celebration of Life Day. Big one. What else we got? National Blonde Brownie Day. I don't even know what that is. Here's the best one. January 22nd is National Answer Your Cat's Question Day. Yeah. I don't know who comes up with this crap, man. Come in from the cold day, Dance of the Seven Veils, Better Communications Day, National Grandpa Day. So my dad's actually in the other room over there. So happy National Grandpa Day. He's a grandpa to my kids. Hot sauce. Man, there's a lot today. National Hot Sauce Day. I love me some hot sauce. Got to take Prilosec afterwards, though. Heartburn. Getting kind of old. Welcome into the show. I'm Jeff Michael. This is Sports with Balls. Let's get going. Today, we'll get into some breaking news. The NFL playoffs, of course, all the games that happened last weekend, because I didn't have a show last week. I got sort of that variant, whatever you want to call it. Didn't really have a voice last week, so that was interesting. But I'm back. So we'll get into the Dallas Cowboys situation. Got to get into that because I know my boy Kevin Anthony will be listening to the show. So I'll talk about that for a little bit. Of course, the playoffs yesterday and on Saturday. Bill Belichick, where's Bill Belichick going to go? No idea. We'll talk about some of the coaching stuff, and I'll probably have a parlay of the day coming up in a little bit. Also, some PGA news, man. Incredible event happened yesterday on the PGA Tour. Talk about that in a little bit. So let's get going. Of course, the number one thing that happened over the weekend, the NFL games. Wow, let's start on Saturday, where the Baltimore Ravens put it on the Houston Texans. I get it. It was 10-10 at half, but it was only that way because of a punt return. Baltimore Ravens are everybody's favorite to go to the Super Bowl. Now, and they're going to get Mark Andrews back. I love where the Houston Texans are at. I like the Houston Texans team. I like the coach. I like the quarterback. Look, they've got a defensive back in Singleton. The defensive back there, and then you got an edge rusher and Will Anderson. You've got a quarterback. You got a head coach. They have the building blocks in Houston to be a playoff team for this foreseeable future, for sure. So I like the building blocks in Houston. Like they weren't supposed to get this far. They started off 3-5, 3-6. They made it to the playoffs, and they played the Ravens, a tough MVP quarterback having Baltimore Ravens team. We'll see what happens with Lamar Jackson this coming up week. That's going to be interesting. I don't like how he runs around. I feel like an injury's coming, and there's not another offense and another team in the National Football League that runs around their quarterback as much as the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe the Buffalo Bills, and we saw what happened yesterday. But the Texans lost 10-34. Second half, especially fourth quarter, Baltimore went nuts. This was an actual good game at halftime, 10-10. I don't know what happened to the Texans coming out or what Baltimore did defensively to absolutely confuse the Houston Texans. But, man, touchdown. And it was over. It was over. Lamar Jackson had 100 yards rushing. 100-yard rushing. Texans just, look, they weren't supposed to get there. Playing with house money. I love it. Good job. Great. But now the Ravens move on. They will host a playoff game, which is an AFC championship game, and that's going to be awesome. We'll talk about that here in a few. But as far as the Texans are concerned, good job. They've got a tough schedule next year. The Houston Texans have a brutal schedule next year. So we'll see if they can continue this run. I would love it for the fans, for the city of Houston, to actually have some sort of consistency when it comes to that franchise. You had your hopes up with Deshaun Watson and what came crashing down. And now you've got C.J. Stroud and DeMeco Ryans and Will Anderson Jr., and hopefully everything is pointing in the right directions. I hold back a little bit because of what this franchise has done to that city over and over and over and over and over again. I saw on social media, they got 30 million, 35 million, below the cap. They're good to go. Look, they haven't made the right decisions in a long time. We'll see if they can this time. They've got they've got the cap space. They've got the weapons. They've got the pieces. So don't screw it up. Don't screw it up, Texans. That is for sure. And by the way, speaking of that Ravens-Texans game, pretty sure Lamar Jackson is a lock for the MVP. That was Saturday afternoon. Then Saturday night, you had the Packers-49ers game, which was fantastic. 3-0, 7-3, 7-6. It was just a great game. 7-6 at halftime, and then the offenses came alive in the second half. It was fun. That was a fun game to watch. Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers move on. All those 49ers Packers games are incredible. Jordan Love, just like the Houston Texans, the Green Bay Packers found their quarterback. They were very, very optimistic going into the season with Jordan Love and how that was all going to shake around. But it looks like Jordan Love, especially the last half of the season, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. The kid was amazing. So digging where the Packers are going, Aaron Jones, they've got a good foundation. They've got some good, really good young defensive players. So I like the Packers' direction. There's not a coaching change there. There's not a quarterback issue there. Just like in Houston, there's not a coaching change. There's not a quarterback issues. Those are your two main things. So check mark. Green Bay and Houston are fine. San Francisco 49ers moving forward may not be. We had a update on Deebo Samuel this morning. He's 50-50 against the Ravens next week. Ooh, man. Deebo Samuel changes that lineup and that offense dramatically. I mean dramatically. And I think maybe that's the reason the line is what it is. I'll get into the lines here in a minute. But right now, 49ers move on. They'll head to Baltimore, 24-21. Brock Purdy, man. Call him a game manager all you want. Kid wins. Kid freaking wins. Like I just they had a bad 3-game stretch in the middle of the season. But look, he put together an incredible last-minute drive or fourth-quarter drive. The 49ers won the game. Packers were up in the fourth. And Brock Purdy came back and did it. It looked great. 49er fans excited. And then you move on to the Buccaneers-Lions game on Sunday, where Brock Purdy the day before had put together a fourth quarter drive. You had Baker Mayfield, fourth quarter, minute and something to go, minute 45. He's got the ball, chance to go down and win the game, chance to make, like literally cement himself as a great quarterback in this league, make millions and millions of dollars. And look, everybody said that Baker's going to get a contract after this. They can easily let Baker go. Easy. So it's not guaranteed. Now, if he takes that ball, drives down and beats the Lions in Detroit, he's guaranteed a contract. Guarantee you. But he did not. And in fact, he did what Baker Mayfield does and threw a pick on the second pass of that drive. Brutal loss for the Buccaneers. They had a chance to win. Baker, great season. CJ Stroud, great season. Jordan Love, great season. At the end of the day, Detroit won. Their defense came up huge. And good for that city, man. Absolutely. But, Detroit won that game. The Bucs dropped in the first quarter. The Bucs dropped an interception in the end zone. They dropped another interception later on that game. They were terrible on third down. They didn't play a good game. The Buccaneers could have won that game. Easy. They didn't play good at all. Baker had 2 picks. One was a pop-up. Went off a deflection. But I feel like Tampa Bay is there. Now, I don't know what they're doing. Here on out, Mike Evans is look at their free agent list. It's unbelievable. I feel like the Bucs are going to go back to the drawing board. And if that's the case, all you people that think that Baker Mayfield is guaranteed for his contract, you're wrong. You're way wrong. Baker may not even be there next year. They've got a lot. And you take away Mike Evans, you're in trouble. So the Bucs, I feel like the hopes and dreams of Buccaneers fans were on the back of Baker Mayfield that drive. He could have vaulted them to the NFC Championship game. I'm sorry, AFC or NFC, yeah, NFC Championship game. He could have vaulted them up there. Could have been ready to go. But he threw a pick. I mean, that was huge. Huge moment for Baker Mayfield. Huge moment for the Buccaneers. I think that the Bucs, okay, so Tom Brady was in the championship game. I think the Bucs, or Tom Brady and Pat Mahomes have been in the championship game, the AFC championship game, since 2011. Patrick Mahomes has 6 straight appearances in that game. Wow. And he'll do it again because the Chiefs last night beat the Bills 27-24 in a game that had absolutely everything that we were hoping for. Absolutely everything that we were hoping for. It was awesome. It was awesome. Pat Mahomes only had 215 yards with 2 touchdowns. It's just Pat Mahomes feels like he's the only guy in football that you're not worried about. Like, it's crazy. You're just like, and even, okay, look, wide right. I get it. Bass missed the field goal, wide right, tied the game. There's still a minute and 45 seconds left in that game and 2 timeouts for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So that game was far from over if he makes that field goal. I get it that, I would have loved to see if he did make it. Poor Bills fan. Wide right. Ouch. But Pat Mahomes, they do it again. Travis Kelce, 2 touchdowns with you-know-who in attendance. It was great. Great for the Kansas City Chiefs. Bad news for the Buffalo Bills because, again, they are in this situation. It's all too familiar. All too familiar for Buffalo and Buffalo fans. This is brutal. This is absolutely brutal that you have to sit there and witness. You finally get the game in Buffalo. You've swept out that stadium with shovels for 2 weeks. It's snowing. You've got the weather you want. It's outside. You're playing the opponent that knocks you out every single time in the playoffs, and you got them at home. You lose. And I don't know if you move on from Sean McDermott. It's sort of the Dallas Cowboys situation with Mike McCarthy. Like, you're there. There's a lot floating around about Bill Belichick. And that's all sports radio talk. I understand it. I don't think that they tell Sean McDermott they're out. Oh, we're done. They're close. Josh Allen played fantastic football. Look, he usually throws a pick, and I'm sure pretty much everybody had him throwing a pick yesterday. He did not. He ran for 2 touchdowns. It was a great football game. Buffalo controlled the line of scrimmage, especially in the first half, running the ball. They averaged over 5 yards a carry. Buffalo was winning that game 17-13 at halftime. And they just could not hold Kansas City Chiefs. They couldn't do it. And it's just that Pat Mahomes thing. 6 straight championship conference championship games. That's unbelievable. That's Brady-esque, if you will. 6 straight. And in fact, it's Brady and Mahomes all the way back to 2011. Insane. I wanted the Bills to win that. I feel like they're, what do you do? What do you do now? Do you just keep rolling with the same situation? Poor Bills Mafia fan. Where do you go? I don't knee-jerk reaction and say fire McDermott and get rid of Josh Allen or any of that. I look, the defense let him down, the special teams let him down. One of the dumbest calls I've ever seen was that fake punt. That was freaking ludicrous. Like, why did you do that? But they ended up getting the ball back because McCole Hardman fumbled it into the end zone. They get the ball back. Bills had plenty of chances to win that game. And in fact, they had a chance to tie it up, and we saw kicker missed it wide right. 2 most dreaded words in Buffalo Bills history. Wide right. So that'll take us to the conference championship games, where the NFC, the Lions and 49ers at 5:30 on Fox on Sunday. And then prior to that, you'll have the AFC Chiefs and Ravens game at 2 p.m. Which one are you more excited about? And I got to look, these are great football matchups. This is fantastic. That Chiefs-Ravens matchup on paper looks phenomenal. The Super Bowl champs versus the MVP of the league this year. And Pat Mahomes, the ex-MVP of the league. That on paper, the storyboard couldn't get better. It looks great. Chiefs and Ravens. Right now, it's Baltimore -3.5. Chiefs are 11-6, 6-2 on the road, by the way. Ravens are 13-4 and only 6-3 at home. This is a great football game. I don't know the weather yet. It says it's just going to be cloudy and 50 degrees. Please let it be normal. I want to see these two teams go at it. The Ravens defense is elite. The Chiefs defense is elite. They were one of the best defenses in the league all year long. This will be a fun football game. I hope it comes down to the last possession. I hope Lamar Jackson doesn't get hurt somehow, some way. I know he runs around a lot, but if Lamar Jackson gets hurt, this game's over. I hope this comes down to the last possession. I hope Pat Mahomes has the ball with 57 seconds left. He's on the 8-yard line and needs 92 yards to go to the win. Let's make that happen, NFL, because that would be fun. I don't see either one of these teams running away from the other one. I don't see that happening. This is an exciting football game. Chiefs are playing good football right now. Let's see who's healthy. Mark Andrews comes back for the Ravens. That's big. Although they've been playing great without him. They just won without him. Look, you're always going to add him. You don't want to keep your weapons down. I get it. But man, they've been playing good football. They're in a rhythm. You're going to ask Lamar Jackson to throw more with Mark Andrews in there. And the comparison to Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen is a solid point. I've been looking at it all morning long. How come people dog the you-know-what at Lamar for running, but Josh Allen's allowed to do it? It's pretty interesting. They're almost the same quarterback. I don't know who I'm taking in this game. Will Taylor be there? Is Taylor going to Baltimore? Woo! That'll be a brutal crowd. By the freaking way, the Kelsey family has it going on, dude. Absolutely. That display by Travis's brother last night at the game with his shirt off out the VIP or the window in the box, that was phenomenal. He went down to the crowd, went into the Baltimore Ravens crowd, grabbed a little girl that had a Taylor Swift sign, took her up to the suite and allowed her to meet Taylor Swift. That's phenomenal. Not afraid of the camera, those dudes. That's awesome. That is look. He just retired. He's going to the Hall of Fame. His brother's playing in a playoff game. Look, prior to the game, he's doing shots with Bill's Mafia in the parking lot. Just an absolute treasure. Keep that guy around, bro. Like, and I get it. Maybe it's all a sales pitch for his podcast, whatever. But however, he's like that. Jason Kelce, good for you, bro. Good for you. That was awesome. That was epic to watch. I'm glad that he was partying his nuts off in Buffalo. That was awesome. That was one of the highlights of the whole weekend, was watching Travis Kelce's brother half naked in a suite with Taylor Swift, the most popular human in the world, pretty much. Wow. And earlier, if you want to go further than that, earlier in the week, he had posted that him and his wife are now expecting their fourth child. What an absolute week it was for him. Way to go, buddy. Way to freaking go. Love it. So Ravens Chiefs, man. Knee-jerk reaction, give me the Ravens -3. That's a tough game. That is a tough game right now. I'm going to see how it goes during the week, see who's healthy, who's not healthy. I just, man, maybe the Chiefs, I don't know. Like, if you want to go off of scripts, NFL scripts, isn't it Ravens 49ers? Isn't that what the Super Bowl colors are already? So that's what the NFL may want. I don't know. But speaking of the next team to get in, the Lions and the 49ers will go at it after that Chiefs-Ravens game. And this is going to be a brutal matchup. I can't wait to see this. And here's the thing. We found out today Deebo Samuel's 50-50. If Deebo Samuel doesn't play, I've got to give the edge to the Lions. If Deebo plays and he's healthy, San Francisco is a great football team. They're going to be really hard to beat. But the Lions look good. And as far as America's team, we talk about the Cowboys being America's team right now, or always being America's team. I think the Detroit Lions are America's team right now. I do. They are the feel-good story of the NFL. Eminem there in the stands. There's so many storylines, and it's awesome. It's awesome for Detroit. It's awesome for that city. Good for them. They're having another game, and that place will be absolutely booming on Sunday. In fact, I'm be positive that they will make Monday a national holiday there in Detroit if they win. Nobody's going to work, because that means Detroit will go to the Super Bowl. Oh, man. What matchup do you want to see? The Lions-Chiefs? I'm down with it. Lions-Ravens? I'm down with it. 49ers-Chiefs? I'm okay with. 49ers-Ravens? I'm okay with. All of these matchups, all four scenarios, I'm good to go. We're going to have a great Super Bowl. For sure. Lions versus Ravens or Chiefs, or 49ers versus Ravens or Chiefs. Come on, bring it on. All four matchups in the Super Bowl will be great. And you're going to have one great quarterback regardless, right? You're going to have Lamar Jackson. You're going to have one of the MVPs in the league. You're going to have Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl versus either Jared Goff or Brock Purdy. Old Brock Purdy. Woof. I just, game manager. The kid's a good quarterback. What are you rooting for? What Super Bowl are you rooting for? I think, regardless of whoever gets in, I think it's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait. I'm excited. We'll get into that as we go down the road during the week. But welcome into the show. Those of y'all that have missed anything, this will all be up podcast version directly after this show in about 6-7 minutes. Thank you for joining in. I'm Jeff Michael. This is Sports with Balls. I want to thank Christian's Tailgate. Go to christianstailgate.com. Find one near you. Incredible food. Incredible place to watch events. All of them were packed this weekend. It was great to see. Or go to modern-homeimprovement.com for all your home improvement needs. 832-930-0156. Some other things happened over the weekend, though. Did y'all see what happened in the PGA Tour? This was awesome. This was absolutely awesome what happened in the PGA Tour. This kid, 20 years old, only the second amateur from, I think, second since 1991. The last kid to do it, last person to do it, was Phil Mickelson in 1991. He wins the American Express tournament at the PGA Tour. He's 20 years old. 20 years old. He was plus 45,000 to start the tournament. So if you put $100 on this kid, he won you 45 grand. Nick Dunlap. Unbelievable. I was actually, because the end of this was running into the Bills and Chiefs game, I was flipping back and forth because this was so cool to watch. He earns 2 years on the PGA Tour and an invite to all the majors. Changed his entire life. He's only the 4th person since World War II to win as an amateur on the PGA Tour. Absolutely fantastic. Nick Dunlap, congratulations, my man. That is good. And golf needs this. Golf needs this. 20-year-old kid crying on his parents' shoulders after the tournament was unbelievable. Unbelievable to watch. Good for golf. Good for Nick Dunlap. What else did we have going on today? I saw where Caitlin Clark got ran into by a fan when Ohio State beat Iowa. They rushed the floor, and Caitlin got jammed up by a fan. And do we really want to get into the Dallas Cowboys, or we want to save that for tomorrow? Maybe we'll say that. I'll save the Dallas Cowboy talk for tomorrow. I know there's a few of y'all that want to hear my rant on the Cowboys because I wasn't able to get into it last week. So I will definitely get into it tomorrow. We'll do the Cowboys talk. NBA games tonight. Let's try to do a parlay real quick before we get out of here. I've been doing very well in this. Bucks minus 12.5 at Detroit. Probably take that one. Cavaliers and Magic. Cleveland minus 1.5. Maybe, depending on the injuries. Take Magic money line in a parlay. 76ers minus 13.5. I believe they're on back-to-backs. I have to check that out. Toronto minus 7.5 over Memphis. Give me the Grizzlies plus 7.5. They cover spreads a lot. Hornets, Timberwolves. Minnesota minus 14.5 over the Hornets. The Hornets cover pretty well, too. I'll have to check that one out. Celtics and Mavericks. Celtics just played Houston. They're on back-to-backs. I may take the Mavericks in that, depending on the spread. Bulls and Suns. Not going to touch that one. I don't know who the Suns are. Hawks and the Kings. Sacramento minus 7.5. Probably give me the Hawks. I believe that Hawks have a few injured players, and they've been getting blown out lately. So I like the Kings there as well. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to Sports with Balls. I'm Jeff Michael. Tomorrow's show, we'll talk about the Cowboys, dive more into the teams that got knocked out, and the playoff matches coming up in the NFL and the Super Bowl. I'm Jeff Michael. Enjoy your day. Be safe.